Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SIG P320, but not how you're used to seeing it. At its core, this is a SIG P320, but the Raider chassis completely changes how you interact with it. The Flux Raider is a chassis system designed specifically around the SIG P320 platform. Instead of modifying the firearm itself, it builds around it, turning a standard handgun into a compact, more controllable system. And what makes it stand out is how compact everything stays, even with added functionality. One of the key features here is the rear assembly, giving you a third point of contact and significantly improving control and stability. The controls are repositioned and optimized for the setup, making everything easier to manipulate under use. You also get a solid mounting solution for optics, which really complements the way this system is meant to be used. Let's go over some features of the Flux Raider chassis system. So first, you have this rear assembly back here. This is a brace. They do have options for stocks where you push down this lever here and the brace deploys automatically. This gives you a third point of contact, which increases stability for longer range shots. You have reposition controls, so you have a magazine release here where your thumb is, you push forward and it deploys the magazine in the gun. You have storage up front. A half press releases this magazine, so if you want to do administrative reloads, you can do such a thing. Or a full press deploys the main magazine as well as the spare one, and you can reload like that. It also adds a safety right here on both sides of the chassis system, and there's also a button right here on the left side of the gun, the right side, where pushing that as well will deploy the magazine in the gun. There's a bridge up here for an optic. I have a aim point on here right now and a Surefire X300 on the Picatinny rail up front. You can mount Picatinny rails on either side as well for any extra accessories you want to use. There also is, underneath the bridge, you can still use your iron sights. So how you charge the Raider, this one in its standard configuration, you have to grab the slide manually and you can lock it back like such, and then you could use the slide release to release the slide. There are charging handles available for slides with optic cuts, as well as you can replace the front sight with something you can use to charge as well. You have a slide stop here and on the other side here. And to deploy or to release the slide, you just push down on that. So let's go over how to take your standard 320 and put the SCU into the Raider chassis. So first, remove your magazine, lock the slide to the rear, and then turn the takedown lever. Remove the slide completely, and you can use your standard slide, which is what I'll be doing. You can also just remove your FCU completely and then use a different slide and barrel. You then pull out the takedown lever completely and pull up from the front of the FCU, pulling it out of the frame completely. Now you have a hollow frame, put that to the side. From here, you want to take your FCU, make sure the Raider is on fire, and then put the back of the SCU in first, and then push down in place. At that point, your FCU is in. You take the takedown lever, you put it into the chassis like so. Okay, once your takedown lever is in place, make sure it's at the bottom pointed down position as it would be for takedown or reassembly of the pistol. Grab your slide and reinstall it on, push it all the way back, lock the slide to the rear, lock the takedown lever, and you are now ready to go. You have a fully assembled P320. You can use the flush fitting magazines or the extended magazine. Let's go over the disassembly of the Flux Raider. Breaking it down is straightforward. The core system is a P320 and it remains unchanged internally. So you want to make sure the brace is deployed. You want to lock the slide to the rear, make sure you have no magazine. You can rotate the takedown lever all the way down like so, release the slide, and it comes straight off the front like such. At that point, you have your FCU inside of your Raider there, and there's no more disassembly. If you want to remove the FCU, you just do the opposite as the install. For the slide, this is just a standard 320 slide, nothing special. You can remove the recoil spring and guide rod, and the barrel comes out as well. And then you have the slide right here. Again, nothing special with that slide. Something to note with the 320, or sorry, the Raider, is anything with a suppressor height sight won't be able to function with the bridge, as the sight is too high and it hits the bottom of the bridge. So you can't use anything with suppressor height sights. Now let's go back into the reassembly. So take the barrel, insert it into the slide, recoil spring and guide rod, push it in and underneath the lug, line up the slide with the frame, and push back all the way, slide stop, and close that. And now you have a fully reassembled Flux Raider. So here we have the Flux Raider and USW A1 made by B&T for size comparison. They both have provisions for red dots and lights. The USW has a slightly longer length of pull, but does not have provisions for the magazine, as well as the stock is deployed via this button right here, and it does not deploy and extend all the way. You have to make sure you grab it and extend it fully yourself. It does have a lower bore axis compared to the Raider. So if I can hold them up to show you. So here's the USW and the Raider with their stocks folded. As you can see, again, the USW is slightly more compact, especially up front. You could get a smaller flashlight, but you'll still have the frame sticking out slightly. But you also do lose provisions for extra magazine storage with the USW. Something the Raider is more comparable to in size is actually the B&T TP9. The TP9 is slightly larger in the folded position, but not by much. As you can see, the muzzle and frame are pretty close. The height over bore is nearly identical, as well as when the stocks are deployed, the length is pretty much the same. Now the length of pull again on the TP9, as this is a dedicated system, is longer and more comfortable. This, by the way, is the next week's firearm that we're going to be showcasing. What this setup does well is add stability and control in a very compact form. It gives you a different way to run a P320, especially in a more structured format. But it also adds complexity, and it's not as simple as running the handgun on its own. So whether it makes sense really depends on what you're looking for.